Okay, so firstly, I want to say a big thank you to Sangmo Kitete for putting that piece together and give us the highlights of the strikes that happened in 2014. Now I want to introduce my studio guest. His name is Mr. Dr. Bosman Asare. He's a senior lecturer at the Political Science Department of the University of Ghana, Legon. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well.
Good. Doc, in your opinion, what were the effect of these amount of strikes on the Ghanaian economy, first off?
In the first place, let's admit that the Ghanaian economy has been tanking for some time, and 2014 was one of the worst periods in our history. And once you take that into consideration or into perspective, and you come to also to the conclusion that many workers have been going on strike, they are not really doing their work, because in the first place, Ghana is a country where productivity is very, very low. And once productivity is very, very low, you expect that people will be working, people will be putting in extra hours to be able to increase productivity. But here we have a situation whereby people are no longer working, they are no longer doing what we are expecting of them. So that means the economy is still going to be in the tank. And I'm expecting that with the 2014, which was the worst period perhaps in recent history, 2015 is going to be better, and Ghanaians are really going to have that peace of mind to really do the work we expect from them.
Okay. Now, the statistical service hasn't actually put together anything that will show us the financial repercussions of the strikes and the effect that it may have on the economy. Have you done anything like that at all? Do you have an example or an approximate of how much this could possibly be costing us?
So far, I don't think there is any concrete thing that has been done, even apart from the statistical service and other quantitative agencies in the country. But obviously, with the nature of our productivity, anytime health workers are not going to work, let's look at the consequences. Well, already people are dying en masse, even in our hospitals, the doctors, the nurses working, etc. So anytime they declare that they are no longer working, the toll is just completely unacceptable. So I think we are really feeling it, but the point is that as a country, we are still a burgeoning country, a country still developing. So some of these statistics are not readily available. But I know for sure that anytime workers are not going to work, the consequences are just unacceptable. And I know some conservative estimates will be putting at maybe a toll of about 2 to 5% of the GDP, which is a lot, considering that our GDP is almost getting to $100 billion. So if about 2 to 5% is being inactive, then it's really a big problem for us.
Do you feel that the issues that were trying to be addressed in going ahead with these strikes were overstretched? Do you think that they could have been dealt with within mediation rather than hitting the streets?
Well, yeah, I think so. I think the government could have done a better job, and the labor unions. Let's be very clear. Usually we live in a country, not only in Ghana, Nigeria, most of us in Africa. Usually the leaders, those who are at the helm of affairs, will tell people that, no, let's all sacrifice, let's all do this and that for the country. But we don't see the leaders rather sacrificing. So they always think there are better days ahead, when in reality they are experiencing the better days. And now organized labor has also reached a point where, because of our current democratic dispensation, people know what is happening. People know the living standards of MPs, the ministers, appointees of government, etc. So once they get information that these people who are saying that things are tough, they are leading a better life, then they also think that they must also lead a better life. So frankly, we will say all of us, there is none of us is patriotic. All of us are thinking of our self-interest.
So is corruption leading to further corruption then? I mean, because some of these issues are based around corrupt practices, misuse of funds, and all the rest of it. So when you think about it, and we are taking this line of action, and somebody is experiencing the better days, and we want to do the same, aren't we just getting into the same reoccurring circle of corruption?
No, and that's the reality, because it is being recycled, because Ghanaians are thinking that we don't trust our leaders. That's one of them.
That's a fact.
That's a fact which is just unacceptable. I think that for us to develop, we need to have that confidence in our leaders that the president has said this and is going to bring that change. Even it will shock you that those who are ardent supporters of the president, his team around him, know that no, it's just politics as usual. We go there, let's try and get what we can amass, so that in future, if we are no longer in charge, we can still continue to live the way we are. And I think that is not good for us.
Right.
I think we as a people, we must move to the point where that confidence, that trust in our leaders will be enhanced. And it also goes on the leaders to make sure that they do the things the Ghanaian people are expecting from them. Because you can't tell them to sacrifice when in reality you are not sacrificing.
Okay, then Doc, I mean, this is becoming like almost a catch-22 then, because, for instance, you have people threatening to embark on strike. Then you have the people who are in power to be able to sort the issues, give promises that are not coming to fruition. So we're getting to a stage where, we're putting pressure, we're given promises, we stop the strike, we go back to what's normal, we're not given what we're promised, and then we go on strike again. So who's fooling who?
No, I as you say, it's not really a good scenario, but my thinking is that now things are really changing, because the association I'm a member, UTAG for example, we had some issues in the past, and I know the government has resolved that. So I think the government is also getting the signal that we can't continue to allow workers to go on strike, and in many instances, when some of these cases even go to the courts, the workers end up winning. So it appears as if the government is not doing its part of the bargaining very well. So I'm thinking that the government has really learned a lot of lessons, and 2015 is really going to be a better year. Let's bear in mind, the election is not so far, although 2 years. So once you are a government and always workers are going on strike, it really sends a bad signal. People are going to say that you are not really good at public management.
What would be your advice to the government in regards to dealing with this potential strike that we've got with the Ghana Medical Association?
I think the government shouldn't allow this thing to be played in the media, so that the government will say this, the GMA, everything is done in the media.
Everything we put it in the media.
So my thinking is that the government, you have people who are mediators, very highly professionals, people who are working presidential staffers, and I think they can engage the Ghana Medical Association. Let's bear in mind, the doctors are not so many, but they are perhaps the most influential workers in our country. They are working, but look at the problems we are facing. So I don't think any country that will allow doctors to sit down, medical doctors not to go to work. I think you don't qualify to be a country at all.
Okay. Now, in regards to the general citizenry, I mean, a lot of us have joined in regards of some of these strikes and hit the streets and have sounded out our dissatisfaction with the way things are. What can we do as individuals as well besides strike?
No, I think that one of the things we don't do very well in Ghana, perhaps in Africa, is that we those in political science normally say that the people don't demand their democracy. The democracy is for we the people. We have entrusted the leadership into the hands of some individuals. By many instances, what we see in our country is that anytime politicians do A, B, C, and D, then the thinking of the people is as if they have done it from their own resources. But ideally, when you talk about governance means managing the resources of the state, nation, of the society very well, so that majority, if not all the people, will benefit. But we have a situation whereby we have appointed some people as ministers, etc. Within a short period, they will put up some mansions here and there, etc. And we, the people, are praising them for taking what belongs to the ordinary people. So I think that the people must really sit up. It doesn't matter. You can be a member of the party. You voted for the president, and the president has appointed somebody from your hometown. Let's make sure that people are doing the right things. Once they are engaging in acts that are sabotaging the efforts of the country, we the people must be ready to speak out. In elsewhere, people go into government to become popular because they've already become rich in private life. But in our system, people rather go into government to enrich themselves. So many people think that those in politics are just corrupt, but I don't think we have to devalue it that way. So let's make sure as citizens, we demand from our leaders, we make sure we set very high standards. You came into government, what was the unemployment rate? If it was 20% by 2 years, what is it now? Once we are doing that, but those cosmetics, semantics that we are doing this, we are feeding these people, etc. These people cannot transform. So we need to really demand a lot from our leaders.
And see the physical results.
Yeah, we have to. It's very, very important, because others are doing that and their leaders are working with a sense of urgency. Okay. They are doing everything possible, whatever is necessary, proper. But you come to our country and it's as if they have become like chiefs. We are rather worshipping them, when in reality they are supposed to be the servants. Yeah. The president is actually the chief servant of the people. The ministers are all servants, but they end up becoming the chiefs, and we are the subjects.
Okay, now there's a lot of court cases now that are occurring, where individuals are actually taking it upon themselves to enforce their rights upon people who, maybe demeaning their human rights as well as basic rights. What do you think about that? I mean, do you think that's the way forward? Do you think that individuals should be standing up for themselves against major companies? I mean, we've got one individual taking on MTN at the moment.
No, I think it's a right thing, and it's one of the virtues of democracy. Let's be very clear. In our country and in the countries that are similarly situated like us, most of us are very timid. We are fearful. We hardly think of testing the law. Mm-hmm. But when you look at the concept of human rights in Ghana now, we are operating with the individual conception. We don't talk about collective so much. It's about you as an individual. So anytime you think your rights have been infringed upon, you have the right to take that particular action. And there are agencies that are there to support you. If even you don't want to go through the court system, the Human Rights Agency, and you have other private agencies that are there. So I think as individuals, if we started doing some of these things, it's really going to be well for us. Well, we know there are labor laws, there are several laws, legal instruments in place, but people can be working at certain places, and those people saving on holidays, you have to work. It doesn't matter, and people are not paying social security, a whole lot of things for their workers. So I think that it's high time as individuals we stood up and we made sure that the right things are done in our society. Elsewhere, people, in Ghana, there are people who have children they are not taking care of, and nothing is happening to them. People think they can just beat up their wives, their kids, and go away. Nothing happens. So I think that once individuals are taking some of these matters up, it shows that we really want to venture into the world of development. Okay.
Now, the Occupy Ghana society or team are threatening that they might go on another strike action in regards to the fuel price reduction. They're saying it should be 50. Government has given us 10. What's your opinion on this?
Well, I think that even just this morning I was monitoring the BBC, and it's like the oil prices further down. And they are talking about some 5-year or 9-year low. It's very unprecedented, and they are not even cutting down the supply, so it looks like it's going to go down. And when you take it from that angle, and the government has come out clearly that the oil prices are going to be dependent on what is happening on the international market, then that certainly tells you that if even you are not following development issues in our country, the prices must still come down. And here again, the NPA, they came back and said, we owe some debts, etc. So you look at that critically, and it's as if you are dealing with people who are not so much modernized or so much civilized, and you think that you can really take advantage of them. So I think Occupy Ghana really has the point. But let's also be very clear. Is the government thinking about getting some of this money so that we can use it for certain projects that will benefit all of us? Because normally with those in policy, we have a type of policy called redistributive. You try to take money from the rich and you use it to support the poor. If the government has that intention and the government can communicate that clearly, I think Ghanaians are going to be happy with it.
I think that would be the problem, the communication. All right, 2015 as a whole at the moment, do you feel that we're going to have a lot more strikes this year?
I think 2015 is going to be better. The president himself has even indicated that he thinks it's going to be a better year. And usually when the chief executive of the country says that, then it means he has put certain mechanisms in place. There are certain things he may be expecting. And let's be very frank, once the president has said that he may have access to certain information that we ordinary people may not have. So my thinking is that it's going to be better. And the president, I know he's learning. He doesn't want his government to be looked down upon. I think I read the report this morning saying the worst in terms of corruption in our history. And I think if you are the president, you don't want that label for your government. That's a stigma, and you want to do whatever is necessary to be able to clear that. So my thinking is that the president is going to do well. He's going to make sure that all his appointees, ministers, board members, etc., they are doing their work very well, because 2016 is not too far. And in Ghana, we are always thinking about elections.
Yep, we are indeed.
The president, I know, is thinking about. He's also thinking about. And you don't want to be a one-term president.
No,
that's very embarrassing, and it's unacceptable. So you really want to make sure you put your house in order.
All right. I want to thank you so much for coming in this morning, talking shop with us. This has been Dr. Bosman Asare. He's a senior lecturer at the Political Science Department of the University of Ghana, Legon. And if our president is watching, you've seen and you've heard exactly what's being said. So over to you, Mr. President.